at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So that means it's time for another video. I'm just going to do a quick refresh over here on the left side of the screen. Hello, Lorraine. Merry Christmas to you as well. I hope you are all ready and going to be able to relax for a few days as the big day approaches. Hi, Angie. Hi, Becky. Appreciate you guys coming. All right, it looks like I'm moving. I can see my wiggly hands, so that's a good sign. So our card today, first off, let me just say this because I'm afraid I'll forget. This is our last video until a week from tonight. There won't be any videos or Zoom the craft rooms all next week. So I'm going to take a little break, and I hope you will spend the time with your family and your friends. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Jean. Hey, Rosie. Appreciate you coming. Marva and Mary and Carol and Shirley. I appreciate you guys all coming, and hope this will be a good spend of your 30 minutes or so. All right, so this is our card for tonight. A little different than usual, but at least I've got flowers, so it's kind of a merry card. And it uses the Linked Together bundle. Now, this is a new bundle in the January to April 2025 mini catalog. And it is a 3-part bundle. So you get the stamp set, the coordinating dies, which are fun. It's nice to have dies that are geometric, but also have some flowers. I really do like that a lot. Hey, Karen. And then it has builder masks. Now, I've got mine a little bit out of order because, you know, I'm using only 3 of the 5, but you can see they all have a number on the top and they all have a register mark. So you can really use those to help line everything up. Like all of the new builder masks, the decorative masks they call them, they are the nice thick white plastic, so you get a lot of good coverage, and they're not so flimsy as the dark ones were that we used before. Hi, Charlie. Appreciate you coming. Hi, Cindy. I'm glad you remembered. Thank you. All right, now let's go ahead and get started. This is all on my blog tomorrow. All right, so we're going to start with a Lost Lagoon mat. Now, I'm just going to tell you straight up, this is a little smaller than usual. I decided to make it small and then have a larger frame around the panel. Can you guys hear that TV? Let me shut the door. I forgot to do that. Hang on just one second. Sorry about that. All right, so this one has a little bit wider mat. You get a little bit more white, and I thought that kind of pulled out the white and the rest of the design. So what I am going to do is use a little bit of repositionable tape runner. Got that at Amazon. And I'm going to use it to secure my panel to my work surface, just so it isn't quite as wiggly squiggly as it might be otherwise. And I'm going to take my first mat, which I am using mat number 4 to begin with, okay? Oh, thanks, Jean. Appreciate it. And I am just lining this up so that the top of the mask is at the top of the panel and the edges are right. You can see it's this this engraved area, for want of a better word, is just about the exact size of this panel, okay? And then I'll just use a couple of 3 sticky notes, by which I mean 2, to adhere that down and hold it into place. Okay? So I will now take my Pretty Peacock ink and a small blending brush. Now, y'all, we have small blending brushes, we have large. I initially bought all the large ones that I needed, and then we released the smalls, and I've kind of set the larges aside. I almost exclusively use small. So when I put my directions out, it always says small blending brush, and that's what I use. But you use whichever size is most comfortable for you. All right, so I'm going to start off of on my scrap paper, and then we're just going to add... I know I just did what I didn't say to do, didn't I? We're just going to add this ink to the panel, like so. Now this is, I do really like these masks because it's kind of fun to have something geometric, and you can use one of the masks, you can use all of the masks, you can use 2, 3, whatever works for you. They do have numbers, but I really kind of think that's more to just be able to say, hey, use mask number 5, right? There's not a particular order that you have to do anything. Hey, Lenny. Hi, Tor Baker. Oh, yay. Getting ready for Hanukkah and Christmas. I hope everybody is pretty close to being done. One of these days I'm going to have to cook for Tuesday, but you know, there's always that, is it going to be ready too early? Is it going to sit in the fridge too long? But I do need to boil my eggs. All right, so I'm getting a pretty good coverage on that. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, okay. So that's how Pretty Peacock on Lost Lagoon looks. So I'm going to pick that up. I am not going to dip my ink, my blending pad brush back in the ink pad, okay? We're going to see what we're going to do otherwise. I'm going to set this aside and this aside. And now I'm going to take mask number 1, okay? And I'm not going to line, I'm going to, well, what I'm doing is I'm offsetting it. So one might think that it should line up like that, right? To kind of cradle those diamonds. What I'm doing instead is I'm going to do it like this. Let me find where it was. Right like that. That'll work right there. Okay. And then I'll adhere this down again. And again, don't add any color. We're just going to lightly color the remainder of the panel. And I'm going to show you what that's going to do. That's going to add just enough Pretty Peacock ink to very lightly color that Lost Lagoon. Now look, if it's done what I think it did, you see how it adds that little line? I'm going to add more ink because I want a little lighter. I want it to look a little lighter. So I'm still not adding any ink. I'm just going back over it again and adding another layer of color. All right, here we go. There we go. Okay, so you can see how that added those little inner lattice, the inner lattice. Embrace your inner lattice. All right, so let's close this up. All righty. Now, the final mask we're going to use today is mask number 5, and it's the one with the, it looks like eyelet to me. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of looking through the mask at the design, and I'm lining those stamps up with the larger, darker diamonds. Is it all that critical? No, it really isn't. This is just a geometric color, kind of a background, right? And we're going to 102. Leslie, oh my goodness. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some white ink and I'm going to use another small blending brush. And we're going to add white dots. And this takes a little effort, I'm not going to lie, because you need to get, you know, this white gets lighter as it dries. So you really want to get a goodly amount of ink inside your little dot areas. So we're going to test the strength of the handle because I'm pushing pretty good. Alrighty. Now, you're going to want to do this. When you make this card, you're going to want to do all of this first so that you can set this panel aside to dry. Okay? We may need to help it a little bit with the heat tool, and that's fine. We'll do it. So you'll make the rest of the elements while this dries. Okay? Let's see how we're looking here. I know I'm not done, but let's see how, oh yeah, see, that's working out nice. All right, some more ink down here. Make sure we got it. The worst part is if you raise your mat up and pick it up and then you realize you didn't get everything covered quite like you want. And then you have to try to get it all lined back up. And that's not always my strong suit. I'm just saying. So take the time to make sure you got what you want. And then you can pick it up. Yeah, I think that's good. Now, like I said, it's going to get a little lighter when it dries, but I think that's going to be fine. Okay, I'll cover this up. Thanks, Julie. I think this is really fun. I think this is really fun. Now let's go ahead and set it aside so it can dry. Okay, now rub off that glue, those glue runner doohickeys. Get a paper towel. I managed to get white on my hand because I'm a pigger from way back. Okay, now we've done a little die cutting. This die set has quite a few fun things. One of them is a parallelogram or a diamond, depending on how you look at it. And I cut out two. The first one is a full diamond, like so. And the second one is a partial. So what I did is I just ran the die off the edge of my cardstock, okay? This is going to be my sentiment, and I really only wanted it to be a partial, okay? So I've got those. And then I've got some flowers and some leaves, and we're going to use those in just a minute. Yeah, I'm pretty close to being covered. The pretty peacock is the worst part for me. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this little guy in half. Just put those tippy tips right in the cutting channel and give it a cut like so. Okay. And hang on to those. Now, I assembled my card front a little differently. I came up with a better idea. I think I have a better plan, and that's what we're going to do. But first, we're going to heat emboss our sentiment from the Link Together set. So this is really a fun set. You have Enjoy as kind of a standalone. You've got So Happy For You, also kind of a standalone. But then you have a couple that are builders. So you have Wishing You a Happy Day, Wishing You a Lifetime of Love, Just a Note, kind of standalone, Wishing You the Best. Haven't quite figured out what I would do with Oh Happy Day. I guess you could probably ink just Happy Day because it is photopolymer, and you could go, oh, Happy Day, or whatever. But you've got a lot of options here for sentiments. I'm just using the Enjoy today. All right, so we're going to give this a little rub-a-dub with our embossing buddy. And then I'm going to ink it up. Oh, So Happy For You. Oh, there it is. There it is. Yeah. That would do it right there. You can see that I'm not thinking well today, apparently, or yesterday when I was working on this card. All right, so we're just going to ink Enjoy in the Versamark and stamp it near the edge and kind of as straight as I can get it. Okay, and I'm going to look and see, you know, that did that again. I'm going to cut another one of these. Don't, my Lost Lagoon seems to be a little bit willing to grab that Versamark because it's sticky, and so it kind of tore it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut another one right quick, like, if you don't mind, so that I don't mess it up. Because I don't want to mess it up. I prefer to not mess it up. If and I can, I'd like to not mess it up. All right. Hang on. Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back with you. I knew I should have cut 2 of these. All right. Here we go. Let's try that again without using my ham hands, my gorilla strength. We won't use the gorilla strength this time around. How about that? And I should have known that because my clothes. Yes, exactly. Exactly. All right, so I'm going to stamp it again with a little less oomph. There we go. That's a mo better. Be delicate, Mary. You don't have to act like you are a 1,700-pound gorilla. All right, here we go. Okay. And before I blow on this, I'm going to close this bin of powder. Ask me why. All right, and when you're heat embossing, you do kind of want to check that you don't have any stray embossing powder, because it's pretty easy to get rid of it now, but it's a little harder to get rid of it when you have heat embossed it. I know this to be a fact of life. Okay, there we go. With heat embossing, taking a little extra second or two to make sure it's clean. It's going to get noisy here for a second. We're going to use the high-speed side of our heat tool. If you have a Stampin' Up! Heat tool, there are two settings. One is for heat embossing and one is for drying things, which we may utilize here in just a few minutes to help our craft ink, our Whisper White ink, dry a little more speedily. Okay, so there's the beautiful magic of heat embossing. When you do this, remember that's still a little bit swooshy. That's a technical term. A little bit squishy. The stamp set is linked together, and you get the stamp set, the dies, and the masks all together in the bundle. Okay? All righto. Now, this is what I did a little different. On the first time around that I did this, I did a bunch of estimating and figuring and adhered to my card base first. And I think it will be easier because I know how it's supposed to look, which is basically like that, right? Like that. So I'm going to just go ahead and use dimensionals and make a stack and then adhere it to my card front. That will be a lot easier, I do believe. I just made that up, and if it turns out to not be true, then, well, we're going to see. Now, I'm going to keep these little dimensionals towards the center because I'm going to be sliding some foliage in there. Okay, so we're just going to make this layer up to get kind of a pointy layer look there. Make this straight, make that straight, and you'll be good. Okay, and then I'm going to do the very same thing with my sentiment. All right. We'll get one more dimensionale. Dimensionale. It makes me think of that song about Butch and Sundance. But I can't think of the words right now. Okay. So then I'm just going to look and kind of eyeball it to get a similar distance, right? Like that. Okay, so now I have this all stacked up. And when my card front is ready, I'll be able to adhere it right on. Now let's see how we're doing drying wise. Yep, I think we're good. There's maybe a dot or two there, but I think we're good. So now I'm going to take some new ribbon. This is fresh freesia ribbon, and it is the 3/8 inch seam binding ribbon. And this is going to be one of the free items in the celebration. So when you, during celebration, which is January 7th through the end of February, you'll be able to buy all of the goodies that you want from whatever catalog you like. And with every $60 and $120, you'll be able to select items in the celebration catalog. This ribbon happens to be a $60 item. So you'll get some pretty ribbon for free. And we've got ribbon, and we have DSP, and we've got some stamp sets, and we've got a Stampin' die set at $120, which is gorgeous. Now, I'm going to take, I've got a little glue dot on the back there, and I'm just going to plunk it down right there. and wrap it around lightly, lightly. Cut that off, put that out the way, and we'll grab another glue dot and adhere that back here. Okay. I do like the seam binding, and this is really pretty. I don't think we've had a lot of fresh freesia ribbon, and so that makes me happy that we have some of that. Okay, so we're ready to go. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to use liquid glue here to adhere this all to the card front, okay? And I may slide a double dimensional under there, and this is going to need to be cut a little bit, which is fine. All right, so let's go ahead and adhere that down. You know what, let me go ahead and just slice it off a little bit right now. How about that? That'll be a little easier in the long run, I think. All right, so I'm going to slice, about 1/4 of an inch off, but I think I'm going to do it different. Okay, so I'm playing a little bit here because I didn't do this the first time. So you'll have to just cope with me having to figure it out. That's the way it works. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to make my diamonds straight and my sentiment straight and get that adhered just like that. Let it have a second to get dry. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in my trimmer like so. And I'm going to put the edge of that card front, that card base, right in the cutting tool. And slice that off just like that. All right. And then when you cut backwards, you may find that this edge raises a little bit. So all you got to do is roll it with your bone folder. Now I'm going to take a couple of dimensionals and stack them up and slide them right under here. Okay, just to give that a little bit of support. And I did that on the first one too, so this isn't anything different. But you've got a double stack of dimensionals that's setting on, so that needs 2. Because, you know, that's just math. That's just math right there. That's just math. It is a bundle, but you can also purchase them separately. I am pretty certain, and if you'll give me 2 seconds, I will double check that in my catalog, okay? Let me double check that right quick, okay? All right, I am double checking. Yep, you can buy the masks separately for $13 and the dies separately for $34 and the linked together stamp set for $18, or you can buy the whole shoot and match for $58.50 and get the stamps, the dies, and the masks. Alrighty? Okay. Sorry. Okay. And of course, buying it as a bundle does, as Rosie said, get you a 10% discount. Okay, so there's our card front. Now we're going to do a little decorating. Before you guys came, I used both sets of leaves dies. Okay, so you get a small one and a large one. I cut 2 large, 2 small, both from Pretty Peacock. So I have 2 large and 2 small. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 1 large and 1 small up at the top, and I'm going to tuck the large one under that middle triangle like that. And then this next one I'm going to tuck under the top, under the sentiment like that. Okay, so we're going to get a little extra dimension. Hey Joanna, appreciate you coming. And you're wearing your boots. What is it there in Florida? You're wearing your boots in Florida and it's chilly. So how cold is it in Florida? Because right now here it was 44 when we walked around and it was 30 this morning. So for me, that's chilly enough to put covers on. 44 was chilly enough to put covers on, and so I did. Okay, so we're just going to slide that in like so. Put a little bit of liquid glue at the bottom here. Come on. There we go. and a little bit of liquid glue to slide that in like so, and the same across the under the bottom. Okay, and we'll slide the large one under this bottom triangle. And if you don't like where it's going because it's bumping a dimensional, that's fine. Just either move it or cut it off. Cut that booger off. Cut that booger off. But I was able to fix it by moving it, and that works for me too. What do I always say, guys? It's paper, it's ink. Make it do what you want it to do. That's it. Teens in Michigan, 17 degrees in Michigan. Nope. That is chilly. That is chilly. Maybe, are you guys going to get a white Christmas? I mean, at least if it's cold, you should have a white Christmas. My mom said it looks like they're going to have a white Christmas in Colorado, which always sounds great. That for me, that's sound and theory flawed in execution. I just don't want it. Okay, now there's a couple of different flowers. I really like these, so I cut 5 of each of these in white and 5 in peach pie cardstock. And I am going to double these up, except I'm going to do it like this. Don't mess that up, Mare. Actually, you couldn't mess it up. If you put the peach pie ones on top, it would be fine too. But I wanted the white on top, so that's what I'm doing. And if you roll it a little bit, you can find a good way to make it look pretty. So just repeat 5 times. Yep. You're probably thinking to yourself, "Self, I wonder why she didn't do a few of those ahead of time." Well, I don't know. I'm in Christmas mode, and so I figured y'all could just watch me stack flowers. Come on now. That seemed like a fun thing for you to do. For me to do with you. Uh-huh. All righto. There we go. That's fine. No flower is perfect. I mean, there are probably some flowers that are perfect, but none of mine are ever perfect. No. 45. Yeah, that's chilly for Florida. No, weather people won't commit to a white Christmas until they can see snow coming down, I think. Because they know everybody wants that, and then they're all disappointed when they think it's going to happen and then it doesn't, right? All right. And then we'll do one more. I have extra because it cuts 2 at a time, and I cut the 6th one on the peach pie. I had one extra white one waiting, left over for me from the first card. Okay, we can put him in the bin. All right, now these guys are all going to turn over and get a dimensional on the back. And then they're going to just be adhered to the card front. And then I'm going to use a cute little gem in the middle. In the middle. Yeah, it looks to me like you're going to get a very white Christmas. Debbie, that's awesome. Melissa, it was -7 when I woke up this morning, 18. My mom was talking about Bailey, Colorado. But I suspect at this time of year, if Bailey gets snow, it'll all get snow. So just kind of depending on where you go, where are you headed to this week? It's going to be 50 in Colorado where you're going. Well, Colorado can change in a half a heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? I mean, 1 second it's 50 and the next there's 7 inches of snow on your deck. Ask me how I know that. Okay. And then I'm just putting these on kind of willy-nilly. And don't worry about the fact that you can see the dimensionals, because we're going to cover the center there with a gem here in just a second. In just 1 second. All right, 2 more. Got to have 5. Well, you don't have to have 5, but you do have to have an odd number. At least in Mary's world you do. And I liked how the 5 looked, so I called it a day. I called it like I thought it right there. All right. Now, another new thing. This is an online exclusive. Now, where did you guys go? Hang on. I know they're here somewhere because I didn't put them away. I didn't put them away. Where? Oh, there they are. Okay. These are called two-tone sparkle gems, and they're beautiful. And it looks to me like these are Lost Lagoon and Fresh Freesia. So I thought they were a perfect match. Perfect match. All right. I'm going to put a little one in the middle of each flower. Oh, they're so sparkly and pretty. I love these. Sparkle gems, all of the sparkle gems. We've got neutral sparkle gems. I love them because they are not only sparkly, they are very thin. Can you see how flat they are? They're great. They're beautiful embellishments. And then I'm going to put a large one over here by this, by that sentiment. Okay, now I'm just going to adhere this to its mat with some liquid glue. Red Outback Dirt. Yeah, 104. Oh my goodness. No, I would not be cooking a turkey. No. Wow. I mean, I don't want snow, but I confess 104 seems like a lot. Okay, so you gotta use your eyeballs here to double check that everything is square, because it's a little bigger than I'm used to. But there's our card front, okay? Now, for the other panel and for my medium envelope. Now look, I don't want you guys to judge me, but I did not decorate the flap of my envelope because I didn't use any DSP and I just really didn't want to do more masking. If you want to do some masking on the flap of your envelope, you are welcome to do that. You know why? Because it's yours and you can do however you want. What I did for my inside panel is I lined this up with the bottom of that right against the bottom of the cardstock. See how that is there? Now I have to be careful because this is a good way to get ink in the wrong. I've been looking for ink in all the wrong places. That is not the tune, but you know what I'm saying. Oh, sorry. I went a little off the rail there. Okay, so I'm going to take my Pretty Peacock again, and we're going to add some Pretty Peacock down here. And you can do it different every time. It doesn't really, you know, it's just a geometric shape that you're adding. Okay, let's see what we get there. This is where I have to be careful. It's like I'm now wearing a white t-shirt. Okay, so we got that. Now let's see, let's take our lattice and we're gonna put it, I'm gonna put it like that. Just like that, I think. I like that. That should be fun. That should be fun. Okay. And then I'm not gonna ink, not gonna re-ink, and I'm gonna go lightly. Go lightly, young man. Haven't you been told? Come on, somebody finish that for me. Okay, and I'm going to let that go, and I'm going to do a little bit of the same sort of thing on the corner of the envelope, okay? We'll go back to our first mat, like that. Thank you, Veronica. I am so glad that you like it. We're going to just try this and see what we get here. Let's try this. I'm gonna have to put my finger on that because I feel it trying to move. All right. And then with our lattice again. Okay. See, this is the thing that's kind of fun about these masks is you can do, okay, not re-inking. You can do different every time, but it all kind of comes together because the shapes are all basically the same, right? I mean, you're seeing the same shapes again. Now, I thought it would be fun on this one to add the dots too, but I'm going to add the dots in Pretty Peacock. So I am lining my dots up kind of in the middle of the open space. Let's see what that does. That's going to want to be real dark. And you can, obviously there's 2 other masks in the set. You could use whichever ones you liked to change up that design. There we go. And I'm calling that good for the envelope right there. Holly Golightly. Anyone remember that movie, Audrey? Was it Audrey Hepburn? Oh, Shirley, you got to stop making cards? That's not goodness. That is not goodness. Okay, so there's our envelope. I'm just not going to do a flap, okay? You could actually do some more of the stenciling on the flap if you wanted to, but I actually think it's okay without it. It doesn't happen often, but in this case, I'll allow it, okay? Thank you, Shirley. I try. All right, so we're just going to put this on the inside of our basic white. Or nope, this is not a basic white card base at all. This is a Lost Lagoon card base, completely different. All right, and then we'll put some dimensionals on the back of our card front. That one's a dead soldier. There we go. And we're gonna be done ski. Dunsky. We are watching a movie. It's called the 666. I think it's about the African-American women in World War II who were sent to get the mail service going back. It's got Kerry Washington as the commanding officer, and she's doing a stunningly good job. It's very interesting. Very interesting. I don't know. I think it's on Netflix. I'm not sure. Okay. Make sure we're not getting any pretty peacock. I'm losing this power of speech. All right, so there we go. And I kind of like it. You've got to love Pretty Peacock, Lost Lagoon, Fresh Freesia, and Peach Pie together, right? Even if the Fresh Freesia wasn't there, that it's a good color combination. But the it's called the 666. Hang on a second. The 688. That's the name of the movie. The 688 movie, and it's very, very good. So far. So I'm going to go finish it now. Y'all, I appreciate you spending part of your pre-Christmas weekend with me. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful holiday with your family and your friends. And take the week off. Go ahead and take it with pay on me. Tell them I said you could. All right? Y'all, I'll see you next Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, right back here. Enjoy your time, everyone. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.